Hi everybody, this is Pat Sloan. Welcome to my neighborhood. I wanted to do a little Thursday night catch up, just a short one. Tomorrow is our UFO Friday. And so I wanted to show you a little bit about what I'm approaching for UFO Friday. It's kind of like a carryover from last week into the coming week. Plus today I put out the first Witches Night Out block, and also I did the Winter Wonderland. So I want to show you both of those on here too. They're on my website, both of those, and if you had the emails, you would have gotten those. But it's always fun to chat and just pop in. So first, the Winter Wonderland, which we're working the Sleigh Bell Sampler quilt on the cover. So cute, right? Just really, really cute. The block this week, we're doing that twice a week of the Sleigh Bell Sampler. So this week is the coffee cup, or the hot cocoa, or hot tea, mulled cider maybe. What is it that when it's cold and you want to get warm? This is it. So on the blog you'll see that it's just the center I showed you, because I'm putting the borders around. Here is, you can see the frame around it. I'm doing that as I go so that at the end I don't have this crazy, oh, I have to do all that border stuff. I don't like that at all. That I just am unmotivated if I need to do these as I'm going. You also notice there's a sashing in between, see that? I will be getting that going because I want to be able to set these, set all of these together as I'm going along. So we'll just stick the mug up there, and it's crooked, just putting it up on the wall. The other thing is the pumpkins so let me show you the pumpkins. Witches Night Out. I just love that name. So this is the book, Witches Night Out. So we're sewing this. And if you've gotten your book and you've looked in it, it has lots of pumpkins. And some of them are tiny and some of them are bigger. And the book starts out with the tiny pumpkins. And what you're doing is making all the pumpkins of that particular one. So this week there's 4 of this pumpkin, and they're all the same. So I am doing the whole quilt with the original fabric. You can follow along if you didn't get the original fabric, or you can get some of that and add into a starter bundle. So I'm using the starter bundle and showing you how I place the fabrics, and I have a little chart that shows you that. I would recommend, if I was doing the full quilt in the starter bundle, I would add in some things. They're basic, which most of the fabrics are basic in this quilt, but I'd like to have a little bit, I personally would want to spice it up a little bit, but I'm going to show you all with the basics. And when you go to my website, excuse me, and you go to the project page, you will see how I show you to figure out, you're basically taking the guide in the book and taking your fabric and matching it up. So there's the guide, and you want to say, well, what fabric will I always use when that fabric's used? What of mine will I use? So you just make yourself a guide, and then it's really simple. You don't have to make a decision each time unless you have a lot. You can scrap it up, you could do fun things. But if you don't want to, if you just want to follow the guide, that's what you do. Now this is a once a week. I'll post the next thing, because if I don't do that, you won't finish by fall. So so it's a little bit of work, this one, because there's multiples of each block, but because you're building them all at once, you can chain piece them and it's not so bad. But I'm mixing up the order a little bit so that we'll do some pumpkins, and then we'll do the witch's hat. Then we'll do some pumpkins, then we'll do the cat on the broom. So I'll mix it up that way. The book is written so like all the pumpkins are first and then all the other items. But I would get bored, so I mix it up, and we'll do it like that. Eventually, I'm going to have photos of all these, but I won't always have them in a video because I need to get it set and off to the spa to be quilted and all that stuff. So, for a little while here, I'll have them in the video, but after that, I'll be showing you from the starter. But you'll see the pictures every time I have all the photos done. Yay! Or I will have all the photos done. Let's put it that way. I don't have all the photos done yet. I will have all the photos done. It's like right? It's like, oh, great intentions. I'll just do them in advance. It hasn't happened yet, but I'm still intending for it to happen. The UFO that I'm working on is, let me just sort of scan around. See that this here? This is a row from my Splendid sampler. Now what I have is I'm gonna lift this up here. Because my wall is very tall, I have a vaulted ceiling in here, and so I have 10. I went with the 8 by 10. For those of you who are watching along or wondering like, what setting did I go with, I went with 8 by 10 because I wanted to fit on that space behind me where I do a lot of my filming. I want to make it that size. I don't want to make it any bigger than that. So that means I needed skinny sashing. So I'm going to have this tomorrow for UFO Friday on my website, but I want to show you what I did here. In this video I'll put in there too. But I took each row, like all the way up, I did all 10 rows, and then I stacked. I needed this design space for something else, so I stacked them together. So this is just, this whole row is stacked together. And then now what I'm doing is I have a cut 1.1 inch sashings. So let me just pull this off. So my sashings are 1.25 inch and then 1.25 inch squares. And I have enough of this to do everything. I can do all of the setting squares. So this will not be, this is row 10 because I can't reach up there to row 1 without getting the ladder. So I'm going to do all the rows down here, which freed up the design space. But I really want to be working on those like as I'm doing other things, or even just taking little breaks and say, okay, I'm going to take a 10-minute sewing break and just power through what I can, because I really want that one done. It's been hanging around, because after that's done I can go back to making new Splendid Sampler 2 blocks for my French General version, and I don't want to start those again until I get this one set so that I can move on. I have to get some of these things moved out. And I also did starching. So I had a tip today for the pumpkins that because these are tiny, that you might want to try starching. And when I starch, I have a photo of the starch that I use, so you'll see it over there. But the fabric is then not super stiff. You can see it's still bendable, but it's firmer, and it's firmer than it comes off the bolt. So that firmness helps with the little pieces so they don't get sucked down in. And I did, like for the sashings here, because I'm cutting them 1.25, that's pretty skinny. So I did the whole big piece of the white. And this is all, what I do is I spray it, starch it, and then I let it dry. After I let it dry, then I press it. And that's a tip I've learned over the years. You know, rather than trying to be in a hurry, if you can give yourself time to starch it ahead of time. So like if you're taking like a kit like this, like the starter bundles, these are all fat quarters, you could just starch all the fat quarters, let them dry, knowing that you're going to use them in this project, and then they're all ready, and it won't matter which block that you're doing. And you could experiment, do the whole quilt like that if you wanted to just try what would it be like to starch all your fabric. All right, and the other little thing I have to show you because I can't wait, they just came in, the little tiny save, what are they, the stash in stores. Okay, they're so cute. There's, what I said, there's red, there's a bunch of colors. They sent me red, aqua, and pink, but there's also purple and lime green. Yeah, they're really cute. They're mini stash in stores, and this is what I use on my desk to put scissors in. Okay, I'm opening it. There we go. And it has a very pliable, so look how cute. So it has a little, it's pliable, so you can just push this apart. You can stick pens, little mini rulers. I take my Roxanne's glue and put it in there, all that kind of stuff. Maybe I'll do a picture of that for tomorrow's post. So this is Thursday night, and I wanted to pop in and just do a little recap, say hello, get ready for your UFO to work on. So at least work on it Friday. At least work on it, just work on it for 10 minutes. If that's all you can afford to do for a UFO, just 10 minutes. But if you have more time, work on a UFO. You just work on it Friday if that's all you can do, so that you can move those things out so that you have that done and they're not just sitting around. right? Yay! Okay, so I'm Pat, and if you would subscribe down at the channel if you're on YouTube, and I will see you at my Facebook community, my neighborhood, Quilt Along with Pat Sloan. And then, of course, I will see you Monday night for my fireside chat. Bye-bye.